On Thursday, 6th of May, people in Hollingdean and Stanmer ward can vote in a by-election for a new councillor. I'm local democracy reporter Sarah Booker-Lewis, and I'm putting questions from the public to Labour candidate Leila Erin-Jenkins. So, Leila, why do you want to be a city councillor for Hollingdean and Stanmer?
I'm a local mum and I want to see positive change in the area that will benefit those who live and work here. I'm an experienced housing campaigner and have successfully defended cuts to children's services, and I would like to be in a position to do more for my community. I want to protect local schools from academisation, drive rogue landlords out of our city, and be a strong voice for Hollingdean and Stanmer residents on the City Council.
And what do you think you will bring to this role?
I'm a working class mum. I grew up on a council estate in Brighton and I've lived here all my life. People like me are woefully underrepresented on the City Council. I bring my campaigning knowledge, a new energy and a deep understanding of the difficulties facing our residents through my lived experience. I have a strong moral compass and I'm not afraid to stand up for the rights of residents, protect our services and fight for our local area.
What understanding do you have of the struggles children, young people and adults and all their families face because they have additional needs or a disability?
Well, this has been my life for the past 14 years. My eldest son is autistic and attended Downsview Hollingdean, and my younger son has physical health issues. For the past few years, I've been secretary of a support group for parent carers that meets monthly at nearby Moulscombe School, alongside the charity Amaze. I want to see parent carers represented on the City Council and the needs of children and adults with disabilities at the centre of council policy.
And to what extent do you support the trend of building more homes on busy, polluted roads and exposing more people to pollution?
Well, 1 in 10 cases of childhood asthma is linked to traffic pollution. With 500,000 homes lying empty, I think our priority really needs to be requisitioning these for our residents rather than building more homes on busy, polluted roads. We can, of course, do our bit in reducing air pollution, and it's really important we do. We can reduce car usage by incentivising the use of public transport, by taking buses into council ownership and reducing fares.
And how can you ensure that residents of Saunders Park don't get forgotten, as the area is very seldom mentioned or factored into Hollingdean and Stanmer ward? There are no meeting spaces, no focus or strategy for the area, and it is densely packed.
It is so important that residents from all areas of our ward are represented, which is why I would work with the community in setting up a residents association and get people from the Saunders Park area along to the North Area Community Engagement Panel. I'm excited to join our current Labour councillor, Teresa Fowler, doing her roving surgeries in the area, getting to know local residents and working towards an effective community strategy for the Saunders Park community.
How do you think a park and ride scheme, as suggested by the Climate Assembly, could be implemented in Brighton and Hove?
We desperately need a park and ride scheme in Brighton, but for this to work, we really need to find a suitable site and we need to reduce the cost of bus travel. That's really crucial. At current prices, it would cost just under £10 for 2 adults to take the bus. It's far cheaper for them to just drive in and park in the city centre car park. If we don't want cars in the city centre, then we must make buses more affordable.
And what would you like to do to improve transport equality in the city for the 40% of households who do not have access to a car?
I really want to reduce the cost of public transport by taking the buses back into council ownership, like they're trying to do in Manchester, which would give the local authority the power to set fares, timetables and routes. 40% of bus company revenue is public money provided by the government and local authorities. The public should have a say in how the buses are run. I want to see us take back control of our buses and see better and cheaper travel for everyone.
Playgrounds are dated and some of the equipment is broken. How will you champion improving play areas for children?
As a mum of young children, I spend a lot of time in parks, and I've noticed that parks in more deprived areas of the city tend to really miss out. When equipment breaks, it takes a long time for things to be repaired or replaced, and this is largely due to Conservative cuts. There also isn't enough disabled equipment in parks, which must be addressed. I will make sure our voices are heard and our area prioritised for park funding.
There are no youth clubs in the area. What will you do to give teenagers something to do?
Yeah, so youth services have borne the brunt of over 10 years of Conservative cuts. This is why we have reduced provision for youths in the city. These cuts are short-sighted, costing us over 5 times more in policing, health services, homelessness support and community care than initial investment. The pandemic has highlighted these issues and our children have suffered greatly. As the mum of a teenager, I am committed to fighting for youth services to be based in our ward.
And what action will you take to tackle dog waste on our streets?
So some local authorities have taken a community approach to this, and this is what I would want to implement. We need a team of community volunteers. We would likely choose an area and then deep clean that area, install more dog mess bins and get local schools to help design posters that we would put up in the area. I hope that by working together, I would want every dog owner to be invested in keeping our community clean. And I would also want stronger penalties for repeat offenders.
And what action would you take to deal with the problems of missed rubbish collections and people dumping their rubbish in communal waste bins?
I would want to arrange a meeting with City Clean to find out what the problem is and work together to find a solution. I would want to also speak to residents and encourage them to contact me if a collection was missed, and then I can chase it up straight away with City Clean. Hopefully, with regular collections, this should mean people can stick to using their own designated bins.
And what will you do to make yourself known as an active part of the community?
I will continue my community campaigning work. I've spent the past year fighting for renters' rights and stopping evictions during the pandemic. A few years ago, I campaigned to stop cuts to children's centres, including Hollingdean, which my children and I attend. I was a governor at the local special needs school. I'm secretary of the local parent carers support group. I actively support the Hands Off Moulsecoomb School campaign. I'm really looking forward to being involved in more community projects and campaigns.
Leila Erin-Jenkins, Labour candidate for Hollingdean and Stanmer. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.